Welcome to the Stogie Geek Show, episode 107. This episode is sponsored by Mr. J's Havana Smoke Shop, located here in Rhode Island. They have an outstanding selection of premium handmade cigars. And by the Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island. It's a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo. And by Debonair Cigars. Visit stogiegeeks.com/debonair for a list of retailers who carry Debonair. Buy some today and get a little more Debonair. And by Ocean State Cigars. Try the J. Grotto series, including the Connecticut Shade Silk and limited edition J. Grotto Reserva lines. Visit them on the web at oceanstatecigars.com. Welcome, everyone, to this edition of the Stogie Geek Show. I'm your host, Paul Asadorian. It's wonderful to be here, drinking and smoking as usual. To my left, Mr. Mark Jr. joins us tonight. Welcome, Mark, to the show.
I'm back.
In studio, nonetheless, with, is that like your 16th cracked iPhone screen?
Pretty damn close, yeah.
You know, there's a place in the mall that does replacement screens.
I'm just going to break it again, so what's
they
the
make
point?
cases for, there's like a thing that goes
Yeah,
around
I don't
them.
like those.
No, okay. I knew that was a foreign concept. On the lines via Skype, Mr. Will Cooper joining us
Greetings,
tonight.
everybody.
Can we see Will? Or is Will's on just audio only right now, so we'll see Will's glowing face in the next segment when we talk about our stogies for the week. We've got a packed, fantastic show. I want to introduce our next special guests that are going to talk about an event that's going on next door. Lauren is here from Aroa Cigars or C.L.E. Cigars?
C.L.E. Cigar Company.
C.L.E. Cigar Company. And Todd, making your first appearance on the show.
Yes.
Todd manages the cigar club right next door, the Havana Cigar Club. Nice to have you back on the show, Lauren, and nice to have you on the show
Thanks, Paul.
for the first time, Todd. So tell us what's going on next door.
Well, basically, we're having an Aroa tasting tonight. Aroa is one of my brands that I represent. I work for Christian Aroa. He is the former owner of Camacho Cigars, who is now owned by Davidoff. So then Christian, ended his non-compete and started up a new company named C.L.E. So we have about 7 brands under that one company, Aroa being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're tasting tonight and smoking.
Yep. Christian and Lauren were nice enough to give out samplings to our members next door and work with do some introduction to the retail members also. So it's been a good event next door. We've had plenty of people over there.
So what did members get?
Members got actually a free Aroa cigar.
Which one is that now?
This one right here. It's all Honduran Corojo, so it's all authentic Honduran Corojo. We use all 4th and 5th priming, so lots of Ligero. We use all the best of the best tobacco.
And I still don't believe you or Christian that that's a Honduran Puro.
It is.
Don't believe
I
it
swear.
because
It tastes way too smooth to be a Honduran.
nothing like any Honduran Puro.
There's no dryness, right?
None.
Like, that's the one thing that always turned me off the Hondurans.
Put it this way, this is my third of the night, so
Sure.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to speak now if it was actually
We're
the
really high
traditional-
on that stick. So.
Yeah. I mean, Christian's known for his Honduran tobacco. We, he owns all of his own farmland and all of his own factories. We do also have factories in Nicaragua also, so we do have some brands that come out of there.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of other cigars in the portfolio. C.L.E. was kind enough to send us a whole bunch of cigars, which we've been smoking and reviewing on the show, and a really nice travel case and everything. We put pictures of it on Twitter. It was awesome. To have that support, and we thank you for supporting the show.
Thank you to you guys.
So now there are specials being run next
Yep.
door?
We have specials being run. You buy 4, you get 1 stick free of any of the Aroa line. You buy 7, you get 2. You buy 10, you get 3. Plus, because at Havana during the summer we run a special on Thursday and Fridays that we do Build-A-Box any 10 cigars for box price, which is an extra 10% off.
No, what's the Build-A-Box for?
Okay, yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Build-A-Box is you can build a box of 20 cigars typically and still get box pricing. So you could pick a variety of cigars, still get your box pricing, but be able to sample a bunch of different things that you'll happen to like. So we do that consistently. We do that all the time at Havana.
Yep, for 20 is all the time.
Yeah, for 20 is all the time. Whether you're public or the members, you get box pricing on any 20 cigars all the time. So you can mix and match your favorite cigars. You can grab a handful of your favorites and then sample other things, and you get to do it all at box pricing.
Nice, nice.
It's a really cool deal. I
Thank
wish
you.
more people did it. It's a great idea.
And they can get
Absolutely.
these the deals that are going on tonight. They can call if people are listening live. You want to call the store tomorrow?
You can call the store tonight or tomorrow.
What's the number?
The number at the club is 401-287-4250. We open at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. If for some reason your time zone's different and you need to make a phone call before or you need to make it later tonight, you can make the call. We'll call you back during the day and we can take care of it. But anybody who's listening to the show can take advantage of those deals for tomorrow. We'll ship them out to you,
Nice.
get them out to you on Saturday.
And those are for the Aroa. Now, that's both the natural and the Maduro, which was
Yes.
just released
Correct.
recently.
Yes, correct.
We got some samples of those. Those are really good,
Yeah,
too.
the Maduros are awesome. I love them.
Very different, but I like it just as much as the natural, I think.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah.
definitely a different smoke. But it's a quality cigar. One of the things with the Aroa cigars is the construction is just amazing, and it's one of the things that I really like about the Aroa because you can smoke it. It's going to burn perfectly every time. It's just one of those things that I look for in a cigar because I'm not the most patient man in the world. So
Now, you also carry a lot of the Asylum, right? All the Asylum.
we carry everything
much everything.
that
Yes.
Lauren
From
represents
C.L.E.,
and then
yeah.
C.L.E. We have the C.L.E., we have the Asylum, we have the OSOC. We have the new OSOC Lancero in stock, which is a limited edition run. There was only 500, correct?
Yep.
500 boxes
Correct.
made. So we have that in stock.
The Straight Jacket, Hechicera, Winwood.
Pura del Sol
Yep,
is still in.
Pure
so-
Soul. We have a bunch of different lines, but basically have about 7 brands under one company. So it's all under the C.L.E. Cigar Company umbrella. But Christian's lines are the C.L.E., Aroa, and the C.L.E. Signature Series, which
Oh, that's right.
they
the
also...
the new Signature Series,
Which is
which
And that's the
Phenomenal.
one that comes without the band.
There's
right?
no band, correct, yep.
That's a
It's
great
a-
cigar.
That's a
Yes,
fantastic
it's also...
cigar. We love
Thank
that
you,
cigar
yeah,
here
it's
on
also
the show.
limited release, and, I lit it up and I instantly knew that I loved it, so...
I lit it up and I swore if someone had given that to me and not told me what it was, I would have sworn it was Cuban cigar.
Yeah.
I don't just throw that around. Like someone gave me a sample and I was like, wow, that's
Yeah.
That's
it is
different, yeah.
When I first smoked the Signature, because I'm more of a medium plus guy as a general rule, and that's a little bit stronger than that. It's true sort of medium full, and I wasn't sure, and I smoked that and I went, wow, and that's actually become my favorite C.L.E. cigar by far. Is
Yeah.
the Signature
And
Series.
same thing with the construction, like the Aroas, the Signature Series is awesome like that too. It smokes perfectly, great draw.
Yeah, I haven't had a construction issue with a
Yeah.
C.L.E. cigar, and that's saying something because I always, if there's one cigar in a bundle of
I mean,
1,000,
it
I will
happens.
pick
It
that
happens.
one.
It is true. Paul, I can verify from smoking with Paul several times a week that
Yeah.
Paul has the worst luck on the planet when it
Yeah,
comes to
like Todd and I
construction.
can go to the same box and we can each pick a cigar at random, and I will
You
pick
have
the
the
one that
construction
has the
problems.
construction problem. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
So I could be QA for pretty much
Yeah.
any
Paul,
cigar
Paul
company.
syndrome.
Paul syndrome.
Paul
you wanna
syndrome.
call it.
There you go, Will.
Will, did you have any questions for Lauren and Todd? I know you probably, being remote, don't get a lot of FaceTime. You know, I see Lauren quite a bit and Todd almost every day when I go next door to get coffee. So
Yep. So another cigar that I just had was the Insidious by Asylum
Insidious,
this
yep.
past week. And I'll tell you what, that had that sweet tip on it, which the only other cigar I could think of that had it is one of the old Nat Shermans. Fantastic cigar, very different than the Asylum profile
It is.
that I've had.
So what's the sweet tip? Is that like a Baccarat has the sugar when they put the cap on, or is
That's
it
what I
something?
mean, Baccarat too, yeah.
Well, so Christian came out, out of our entire product lines, we really only have one Connecticut shade. We don't have too many mild cigars. So they wanted to come out with something, that was going to be mild. It has the sweet tip, so it's a great smoke. It's a great price point. And it's just a phenomenal cigar. We just came out. We just started shipping. So
Is it a Connecticut
it's
cigar?
it's a Ecuadorian Connecticut shade wrapper. It's all Honduran Puro.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Which now we can smoke because
Because we've had the
Yeah, 'cause
Aroa
apparently
in the natural.
Honduran Puros can be okay.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Excellent.
Yes.
Now, Will, when are you coming up again next?
It looks like November I'm going to be up there.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're
Great.
doing our episode. Well, it's episode 400 of my other show, and it's roughly the 3-year anniversary of Stogie Geeks. So we'll be celebrating that on November 14th. For those listening, may want to come by the studio. We'll be doing it all day into the evening. We'll be doing Stogie Geeks like once in the morning and once at night. So we're going to do like a breakfast cigar in the morning, and then we'll smoke something else at night. We're doing it in support of C.R.E. For cigar rights.
Okay,
So
excellent.
Awesome.
yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Absolutely.
So we hope you can join us. Well, I know you will. You're right next door. You can come by anytime. But
Yeah.
feel
Cool.
free to come by. It's
All
going to
right,
be
yeah,
good
awesome.
times. So
I appreciate it.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
very much, Paul.
yeah,
thank
good
you
luck
guys
with
very
your
much.
event. If you need to get back to it, that's fine. If you want to hang out and smoke and drink here, you're more than welcome.
Well, for a few minutes we can hang out and smoke
yeah,
and drink.
we're
Then we'll get
gonna,
next door. We get John and Emily next door. So
Yeah, we're going to transition into our next segment. Thank you both very much. Transition to our next segment. Will, do you want to introduce the cigar that we're smoking since you sent them down and have lined up the interview that is associated with this cigar? Or
No,
what?
it's actually not associated with the cigar.
Okay, never mind. Forget I said that.
Okay,
So
yeah,
introduce
we'll
the
do
cigar.
the cigar after the interview. But we're smoking a Guaican.
Okay, so tell us about the Guaican.
It is a House of Emilio brand made by a gentleman named Noel Rojas, who, of the House of Emilio family, so to speak, Noel's the one who actually has his own factory. And this was the first release, which is called the Guaican Habano. And we're smoking the newest size, which is a Corona, which I have some really interesting, because this is a very, very different smoke in the Corona I'm finding, and it's really good.
Yeah, I'm liking it so far. I lit it up just before we started, and I'm really liking it. It's medium bodied. It's got good flavor, and I'm told it's now I see in the show notes a Habano Ecuador wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and filler. It's a 6x52.
42. Did I write 52?
42. You know
Okay.
what? Just
No,
don't
it's a
listen
Corona.
to anything I say tonight. It's really,
Well, it's been a long week.
it has been a long week.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So we've started this new thing on the Stogie Geeks that I'm very excited about. Mark Jr. and I kind of collectively decided that we would do pairings on the show. And what kind of sparked this was I noticed a couple of other shows are doing some pairings. C.L.E. was kind enough to send us a pairing. They actually sent us cigars and beer to pair together. I loved my pairing. I thought it was awesome. They actually paired a Connecticut cigar with a Belgian-style IPA, which I was highly skeptical of to start with. But it was an awesome pairing. Awesome. So Mark Jr. and I were like, you know what? We love to drink and be merry.
We do.
And we love to
do.
smoke cigars. So we're like, you know what? We're going to – and we always have a spirit on the show, but we don't always necessarily make a big deal about it. So we decided to make a more formal run at doing a pairing. So Mark Jr. and I – and Will, if you want to get in on this too, you're more than welcome. It's, obviously it's just easier for us logistically here in the studio to be drinking the same thing. But we'll work with you on that. We're going to do a whole we're going to do a whole series. We're going to do rum, scotch, wine. The one I'm excited about is we're going to do cocktails. I cannot wait to do the cocktail.
Let me know when that is.
Yes, we're going to. What's your favorite cocktail?
My favorite cocktail? I mean, I'm simple, so I like, just like a nice Belvedere martini straight up.
Yeah, martinis.
simple.
We should do a martini show.
If it's good enough for James Bond, it's good enough for me, man.
Right. We'll be pretty slosh for that. But anyway, so we're going to do all kind. So I talked to my friend Jack. His name is actually Jack Daniel. He's on my security podcast. But one of his hobbies is he loves mixed drinks. And he's got this fantastic collection of like bitters and all these different concoctions for making cocktails. So he's going to come down hopefully sometime in October. I have him booked for a tentative date. He's going to make all kinds of cocktails for us. And we're lining up other people to come down and do cocktails. But tonight, a long-winded way of getting there, tonight we're pairing with a rum.
We sure are. It is Ron Zacapa, 23-year-old. It is made in Guatemala. It is made of rums that have been aged and blended, and the ages range from 6 to 23 years. So a good portion of it's been quite a long time in some wood. Another thing that is nice or different about this is that most rums make their base from molasses, right, which is a byproduct of processing sugar. This is made from first pressed sugarcane, which gives it a much smoother, sweeter flavor profile than traditional.
This is
It is very
rum.
smooth, yeah.
It is
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Just as a note, too, it has more viscosity or legs, as you might say, than most rums do. If you
Yeah.
Sort of give it a swirl in your glass. You'll
It's
see what
kind
I'm
of
saying.
thick, like motor oil
Really
kind of thick. Yeah.
Yeah. Motor oil is not really a positive connotation, but it is quite good.
It actually is exceptional.
The nose has sort of like a brown sugary. That's the predominant flavor in the nose to me, with some butterscotch and raisins. The palate has like a raw sugar flavor. You don't get that brown sugar quite as much, more like that sugar and the raw type flavor. The raisins come back, and it has a little bit of that oaky flavor to it as well. The finish is really smooth, and it lingers in the back of your tongue. It's a pretty pleasant experience altogether if you're a rum fan, and at a fairly reasonable price at around $45 a bottle.
Is that what I paid for it? We were debating before.
$43.99, but I just rounded it up to $45 because in different states or
Yeah,
what, it
it's
could
gonna-
be different,
it's gonna
right?
vary. So
We will touch again on it as it relates to the pairing with the cigar later in the show, but that's what we're drinking.
now, typically, Mark, mojitos are made with a clear rum, but
Blanco rum, they call it, yeah?
there's nothing stopping you from using a darker rum in a mojito, right?
I suppose not, right?
Right. We're gonna have to try that on the show when we do the mojito show.
I like dark rum like this paired with club soda and lime.
That could yet be another show that we do.
That is a really good dark rum with club soda and lime is a nice,
Gonna have to
refreshing
Yeah.
drink.
We'd have to
So-
come visit you guys for more of these.
Yes.
Yeah,
These
These,
tastings. I don't have to walk next door. You know me.
yeah.
I'm pretty much a Scotch and red wine guy and rum.
Do you have some club soda and lime next door that we could borrow?
I'll tell you what. When
Maybe
we pack
for
it
the
up,
next-
I'll bring it
Yeah.
over to you so you guys have it for the next segment.
That'd be fantastic. We're gonna try that out. Alrighty. Thank you, Mark. So, Will, could you introduce our fabulous guests for our next segment?
Yeah. So we have on the line. We have some folks from Villiger, North America. We have Fabian Barrantes, the director of marketing. We have Shawna Williams, who's recently been named the national sales manager. And we have my old friend Robin, who is the territory manager for the, I guess, the Mid-Atlantic, Pennsylvania area for Villiger, North America. So, Fabian, Shawna, Robin, welcome to the Stogie Geeks. Thanks for your patience.
Thanks.
And I've been corrected. You are the VP of sales. So let me get that correct.
Thank you all for coming on the Stogie Geeks. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the history of Villiger. It's a company with a rich history in the cigar business. So if you could kind of give our listeners a little bit of background on Villiger cigars.
Yeah, absolutely. Villiger is actually a 126-year-old company. They're actually monster, around the world, European, but it's a little bit newer to the United States as far as premium hand rolled. Villiger has been known for their premium machine-made cigars, but their venture into premium hand rolled happened about 7 years ago. So Villiger is actually one of the biggest distributors of Habanos in the world. So, and Roy McLaren actually came on board as the president of Villiger North America 2.5 years ago or so. So he's the first time that Villiger in the United States has actually had an American president who's been able to blend cigars and make stuff that's more catered towards our market, because we tend to like things that are a little bit different than the rest of the world. It's a little bit more beef.
So is Villiger North America a subsidiary of Villiger, focused just on the U.S. market?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
That is correct.
Now, Fabian, what is your background before joining Villiger?
I spent a couple years working with Olivero Cigars, and then we became Boutique Blends. Did a couple of great cigars with Swag and Aging Room. So, little background in the back.
Yeah,
Go
we
ahead, Shawna.
noticed all the changes that Fabian had really helped make the marketing direction of Boutique Blends, and took note of it, and we definitely wanted to make him part of our team.
Very cool, very cool. Will, you had a question about Roy, the president.
Yeah, so I know that Roy, not only did he come on board as the president of Villiger for North America, he really put, I think, a change in Villiger's whole approach. So you mentioned something about the stronger cigars, but it seems like it's been just from top to bottom in terms of now Villiger not just being known for maybe machine made, but for premium cigars. Could you talk a little about that? Because it seems like that footprint's really, we're starting to see the results of that right now in a positive way.
No, you're absolutely right. You know, though Villiger did launch premium hand-rolled cigars in the States years ago, it sort of blended in the mix. Not to say that they weren't great cigars, but it's more difficult to get the recognition. So bringing someone like Fabian on that, you know, has the creative marketing vision to make it stand out in the humidors and, you know, make moves as far as marketing and advertising has made all the difference. And also, you know, the interesting, more beefier, complex blends, like I mentioned before.
So along those lines, Fabian, because I also work in marketing to a certain degree, what was your plan to kind of help change the perception of the brand from a machine-made cigar to a premium handmade, almost boutique cigar?
Well, one thing was that we created 3 new brands totally with their own identity. Instead of having the Villiger forefront name, they're their own brands and their own style. So that's pretty much what how we started going on about it, and it kind of been working for us. How everybody's pretty much taking, you know, a lot of the product and the consumer, and everybody pretty much loving them.
Mm-hmm. So what are the 3 new brands that were launched?
Well, the first 3 were Guaican Creamy, which Shawna's smoking right now. It's a very mild and spicy smoke. The next one was Trail, which is more of a medium plus very flavorful smoke. And the last one we have Cabarete, which is a box-pressed Nicaraguan Maduro wrapper. Those were the first 3 that were pretty much created as soon as I came on board. That was the first thing, that was the first focus.
Was it part of your marketing plan to have lovely young ladies presenting the cigars on camera? Is that part of your marketing plan?
No, not at all. These lovely ladies are and let me tell you, they are great, and we couldn't do anything if it wasn't for them as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. You've partnered with Tabacalera La Palma. How did you come about that working relationship?
Well, you know, I've known Hochi and Vinny from Tabacalera La Palma for years. And to me, they're like family. When I go down to Dominican and Santiago, I stay, you know, in their home. I don't rent a hotel, so I've had a great relationship with them. When I go down to the factory and I want to look at blends or want to look at tobacco, I don't have to ask them for permission. They just, well, every door is open for me, you know. So we've had that great relationship for such a long time. And there's so many other manufacturers that I have a great relationship to, and that we're able to work with in the future as well. So that relationship kind of worked right away with being able to come up with these blends.
Mm-hmm. So did you choose the same sizes for each of the 3 lines that we talked about, or are there different sizes available in each of the 3 lines?
Sizes. They all have their own individual size.
Okay, so they all have different sizes in each of the 3 lines?
Correct.
Okay. I won't make you list them all. People can look them up, right?
They can go to the website, but we know them somewhat by heart.
Yeah. So are there, like, how did you choose the sizes for each line? Obviously, each of the 3 lines are distinct and different. What went into some of the decisions around which sizes would represent each of the 3 lines?
Well, we all had a say-so with the team. I know Shawna, she likes some specific sizes. So we always threw ideas out together, and obviously Toro and Robusto are the #1 sellers everywhere. So all 3 sizes come in all 3 different lines, but they might have a variation of like maybe a Toro in one and then a Toro Gordo in another, maybe make it like a 54 or something like that. So, but there's specific sizes. Shawna, you remember how we were picking some of the sizes that you wanted the most?
Well, we are all out there in the market and we see what's hot and what's not and what really sells. And then we have the specific sizes that we all really enjoy. Like
Yeah.
I personally really enjoy a Corona, but it's a little bit more of a niche market. But at the same time, we know that the way that the market's going right now, we have to have some 60 ring gauges out there. Fabian came out with a great size on the Trill, which was the short 62 ring gauge torpedo. And that was really unique. So they're just all a little bit of a tweak on traditional, you know. So it was just a little bit of back and forth, but actually there wasn't too much argument. We all have really good taste.
I don't doubt that.
You
Go
know,
ahead,
the
Will.
interesting thing about these three lines is that you kind of just touched on it. There's a mix of traditional and contemporary. And I think it kind of goes to some of the background behind the names. And I think the story behind each of the background of these names is really interesting. Could you talk a little about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Cuellar, the one that I'm smoking, is named after Don Diego Velázquez Cuellar. He was actually a conquistador that came over on Christopher Columbus's second voyage, and he was actually the first, was it mayor of Cuba, Fabian? Governor of Cuba. I don't know, is that what they call it? But so there's definitely some rich history behind it. So we wanted to come out with something that was a little bit more Cuban-esque, right? So that was definitely unique about this cigar. With the Cabarete was definitely unique because that was named after the Cabarete Beach, which is where Fabian actually did the photo shoot for our ad that just came out in Cigar Aficionado. That's actually where some of the Spanish ships would come to port to trade some of the best tobacco in the world. And your vision behind that cigar was all about taking you to another place, to another time. You're smoking that cigar, and you just takes you back in time. Fabian, you talk about Trill best, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, Trill pretty much is something modern, hip, with a name that will be longevity. Something that's not going to be just a fad or a name that will be around for 2 years or something like that. The meaning behind Trill is true and real. That's really what Trill means. And we wanted to make a cigar for a true and a real smoker, somebody that could enjoy the entire cigar all the way down to the nub. And that's the point of the Trill, because you'll get a lot of spice, lots of flavor and smoke, and then towards the middle you get this nice kick that you weren't expecting. So if you're a real smoker and you enjoy a whole cigar, you'll see the changes of what Trill is. So that's part of the concept of Trill. We have in the band, it says you can't hustle a hustler. That pretty much means you can't hustle a real smoker. You can't give them something that will be good in the beginning, but then turn out to be a bad cigar or not enjoyable. We want you to be totally enjoyable the entire smoke. So that's the whole concept of Trill.
And it's got just a little bit more edge to it. It's not quite as traditional as the other lines. So I feel like we have something for everybody across the board, not just flavor profile, but the whole image of the cigars. Have a little more rum, baby.
So it seems to be a trend in the industry towards Lancero-sized cigars. Have you any plans for a Lancero-sized cigar? Is there a Lancero in your portfolio already?
Yeah, actually, we have a Selecto series. Do you have one in here?
I have one out in my car.
You have one out in your car. So actually, it was a line extension on Telenga, which was launched 3 IPCPRs ago, 2 years ago. We launched the Telenga series, which Roy McLaren worked really hard on with Nestor Plasencia out of Nicaragua. He worked on that cigar for over a year, and then we came out with just a little bit beefier version of it. Obviously, you're going to get some more oomph from it just because of the Lancero size, but it's got added Ligero to it, and they come in a 10 count box. Mm-hmm. And it's actually before the Cabarete came out, that was hands down my favorite cigar in the line, and it's really unique. It's got a Honduran broadleaf from the Telenga Valley, and it has sort of a natural dry sweetness to it. It's by no means mild, but the flavors are delicate. It's really a spectacular cigar.
When they first came out, I smoked 25 in 1 week.
Rob,
I like Lanceros.
I've heard
awesome.
Robin say that cigar was the reason she chose to come on board with Villiger.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So at IPCPR this year, you introduced a Brazilian Puro. Can you tell us about that line?
Yeah, that cigar is called Tabajara, or as Lois in the Carolinas likes to call it, Tobajara. But God bless her, she sells a lot of them. But the cigar speaks for itself. It really is a great cigar. It's got that spicy Brazilian taste to it that you would expect, but it's so unique because there's really no other Brazilian Puros on the market. And not just that it's so unique because there's not others out there, it's at an amazing price point. It's from $625 to $675. You know, Brazilian tobacco is pretty pricey, and the fact that Mr. Villiger owns the factory makes all the difference that we're vertical with this cigar and that we're able to launch it into the market at that pricing. You're just going to have to smoke it. We completely sold out of our first container of it at IPCPR. It did even far better than we had expected it to. And it didn't even have any of Fabian's hip, cool, edgy marketing to it. The cigar is just that dang good.
I happen to have it, and I can tell you it is very unique. And I was talking a little about Fabian with that cigar, and apparently it's something that you've already had in Europe, correct?
Yeah, it launched in Europe a year prior, but the version that we brought into the United States has added Ligero to it, so it's a fuller-bodied version. Yeah.
So that's kind of, again, going with that theme of Villiger North America, saying, well, we don't just want to bring a cigar in, but we want to really address the North American or the U.S. market.
Exactly. And the Europeans have really put a lot of faith in Roy McLaren, our president, and really listened to what it is that we need over here to make it work. So, I mean, we're really, really happy with the success of this cigar.
Where is the cigar being made out of Brazil as well?
Yeah, it's made in Bahia.
So I've heard, I mean, maybe you could talk about this. I've heard it's very difficult to get new blends out of Brazil. Is that the case? I heard it's a very restrictive market in terms of bringing something to the market. Is that a challenging thing?
Well, for us, our parent company did it. They're a powerhouse. So, I mean, they made it happen. And when you've got the dollars like Mr. Villiger has, you can make whatever you want happen. But he's just really had a passion and a love for Brazil and for all the indigenous people there. So actually, Tabajara means the Lord of the Village. So he's just totally immersed himself in it and embraced it. So, you know, dollars talk, and he's made it happen.
Now, is it available yet, or is it shipping soon?
Oh yeah, it's shipped.
Oh, okay, great.
It's out, and we're expecting our second shipment of it in here anytime soon. Awesome.
Now, is it, as far as the tobacco goes, what are some of the types of Brazilian leaf that's in that blend?
There's Matafina, and there's Bahia. All Brazilian.
Oh, no. Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I happen to have that cigar, and like I said, it was one of the surprises I had at the show. Fabian gave me one and really enjoyed it.
You know, I was really excited when I tried it too. I tried the European version, but actually I'd only had one sample of the American version, and when it showed up in Las Vegas is the first time that any of our sales reps, that anybody really got to try it. It was literally the first launch. So
wow.
Really excited.
How do you market the Brazilian Puro? I'm just curious. As like I said, I have a background in marketing. You know, is that marketed towards the more traditional cigar smoker for them to try something new? Is it, you know, more towards the cigar geek where you're like, you got to try this, you know, Brazilian Puro?
I think it's a cigar for all of them, but that marketing question would be geared towards Fabian for sure.
Well, it's pretty much the way it's marketed is this is one of a kind smoke. There isn't that many in the market that are Brazilian Puro. There's a lot of cigars in the market that use a Brazilian wrapper, maybe a little bit of Brazilian filler or something like that, but a full blown on Brazilian Puro, there isn't that many in the market. So this makes it like one of those gems that people are like, wow, we have to try it. A lot of people like that little sweetness and spiciness to a Brazilian tobacco. Now they get it in a full-blown on Puro. So it's rare, and not that many people have it in the market. So it's one of those things that is sort of like easy in marketing-wise, because the same thing at the show. Everything we had, we sold out at the show because the minute somebody tried it, they were impressed of how great it tastes. So they were like, oh, we need this to have it in our stores and to have our consumers try it. So anybody that really loves some type of Brazilian tobacco will really, really enjoy it. So it's kind of made my job a little bit easier to really take the marketing of it, because it's nothing out there in the market that's just like this.
Yeah, and Fabian had a beautiful Brazilian model at the show too. He's actually
that's not a bad idea.
No, it didn't hurt anything.
She was very nice.
That is not a bad idea.
Out the cigars at IPCPR. Nobody could say no to lighting it up, but you had to taste the cigar, and then it spoke for itself.
It really did. It really did. It was a wonderful cigar. I enjoyed it.
In terms of the other traditional Villiger brands, you also introduced a limited called the Villiger 1888 Especials. Tell us about that line.
Yeah, we have worked with a gentleman named Matias out of the Dominican Republic for many years. He has a close relationship with Mr. Villiger, and he's put out some amazing cigars for us. It's like the La Libertad, which got 92 rated with Cigar Aficionado time and time again. He created our original 1888, which was the flagship line in the United States, but he came out with a special blend, which was only 500 boxes for us for the show. So I don't know if you're going to see many of those around. They're almost all gone. But it was a proprietary blend. We can't tell the entire thing, but it's definitely medium bodied, and it has sort of a creamy carameliness to it.
What are some of the other blends under the traditional Villiger lines that you want cigar enthusiasts to be aware of?
Well, I'm sure many of the cigar enthusiasts are already aware of the Colorado and Talanga. Those were the first two lines that were catered specifically for the American market. I mentioned the Talanga before, but it was the Colorado and the Talanga together that Roy had worked on with Nestor Plasencia. Actually, Robin sells the heck out of them in her territory. She probably sells more of them than anybody out here. Why do you think the Colorado is so popular?
I think the Colorado, is especially in my sort of territory, and I do Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, and metropolitan New York, we tend to smoke, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I sell a lot of mild to medium cigars, but the majority of the people here in these urban populated communities up in the northeastern part of the country, I think they really like the fact that it comes in a 660. It's big, it's dark, it's Nicaraguan, it's strong, and it just does really well. It looks beautiful. I mean, the wrapper looks really rich and chocolatey, and it speaks to the guys out there that are smoking, your household names like Padrones and Ashton VSGs. Those are my #1 guys that smoke the Colorado. I've turned some of them on to experimenting with the Talanga, which uses a Connecticut seed wrapper that's grown in the Talanga Valley in Honduras. And initially, guys are scared and they think it's a Connecticut seed, it's going to be mild. But when you tell them, well, it's got a full flavor, but it's more of a medium to full-on finish, get it through the retrohale, you'll feel the spice and the strength. They're immediately turned on, and they end up smoking both of them.
And Robin, there was a Lancero in that Talanga. Am I correct on that? Or is there still a Lancero?
Yeah, it's the Selecto series, which is a take on the Talanga, and the wrapper's aged a little longer. It has additional Lajero in the filler, and I'm a Lancero fan, but it also comes in a Corona Gorda for guys who aren't, they are not appealed by that small, thin Lancero size. I got to tell you, both of them smoke amazingly, but the fact that the Lancero, you get a little more length to go through by the end, you get that really, heavy feel to it. It's definitely, I would say, for an experienced smoker or anybody who wants to play around with a Lancero and not go for something as strong and heavy as some of the other ones that are on the market now. So you've got that boldness, but it's approachable for just about anybody to smoke.
So
also is a release that you did last year, which I think flew under the radar, and it's an excellent release, the Villiger 125. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. The 125 is a 2009 Ecuadorian Habano. It's a limited production. We don't have a lot of boxes left, but it really, really is a beautiful cigar that's still currently brick and mortar. We sell this cigar at No Catalog and Internet. and it's medium bodied, and it has sort of a velvety taste to it. I really think that this one is sort of a caramelly taste to it, a little bit of cream to it, and it only comes in 56 ring gauges, so you've got a lot of tobacco to it, and 3 lengths.
And that's another one that's going to trick you into, you'll see that silky sort of creamy looking wrapper. And I had a gentleman say to me one time, "Oh, the cigar is too mild for me." And I said, "Bring it through the nose. That's how you always test the spice factor." And man, did he was like, "I'm sorry, I apologize. That's really got a kick to it." But for something that really commemorates 125 years, so 126 now, is featured in the Robb Report, is really quite impressive. I mean, it's come a long way since I started about 2 years ago. Some of the cigars that we've come out with, even at the show this year, they've come a long way, and the cigars are really quite impressive.
Yeah, the Robb Report called it one spicy treat.
I remember, so what I've seen is, another change I've seen with Villiger is there's been you're doing some of the great marketing, but I've seen a grassroots effort. I mean, I know Lois down here. I remember Robin, when she used to do her radio program, she'd always be at a different event. I mean, you've hit the road. Is that something that's been part of the Villiger model over the last couple of years, to do this grassroots effort to build the brand?
Absolutely. We've been working really hard on building a great team. We have just some wonderful, wonderful, strong, knowledgeable salespeople on board, and it makes all the difference. I mean, they're the ones that have to be out there on the front lines and introduce it to the retailers. The hardest part is getting it in people's mouths, because in the United States, Villiger just doesn't have that name that everybody identifies with and runs and grabs. We just have to get them to try it. But once they do, they come back and try more. So it does tend to be very event-driven. So we're very active in that. And Fabian's helping out immensely with coming out with all kinds of great swag and promotional items, and yeah.
I'll give you a fantastic, for instance. We're here in the Pittsburgh area, Verona to be exact, at the Cigar House, and we came here with the anticipation that we would run some specials. I'll probably run them through the weekend, and thinking, well, here's a new account we just signed up. We do real well out in the Western PA area. Everybody's very supportive. We walk in, and I had to tweak my specials because they completely sold out of Trill and Cuellar. But we'll do a pig roast here, and we'll have lots of cigars by then on the 14th for a members-only event. But really great freestanding shop, and I was really shocked to come in and see, 7 facings down to 3.
Yeah.
In less than a couple weeks.
But they're great cigars, no doubt. But it's people like Robin out here getting the word out and spreading the buzz. And social media sure helps too.
And from what when I was at the show, you have a special event sampler, am I correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
Fabian designed the event sampler. You have it there?
Sure do.
All right. So it has one of each of the Cabarete, the Cuellar, and the Trill. Oh, you're missing one.
I smoked it.
Smoked it.
You smoked it. And there's also a very rare cigar in there that we can't speak the blend of, but it's a Maduro on the bottom and a Connecticut on top, and it's identified by just a simple red ribbon around it with a pigtail. So it's something that we might consider for a future release. But the only way that you can get your hands on that cigar is in these event samplers at Villiger in-store events. Oh, Robin's got one.
And Fabian, that's the one that you smoked, right?
There we go.
Correct. Look, she has one.
Oh, very cool.
There was only 3,000, made. It was a very small batch. Roy and Hochi Blanco really blended that together in Dominican one great week, and it was just like one of those gems that we wish we had enough tobacco to make a great line in the future, but it definitely makes it real worth your while to get one of these special event samplers. So if you're lucky enough to come to a Villiger event, you better buy a box and get one of these gems, because you'll have one of those cigars that you will never ever forget.
Yeah, what are the characteristics of that special cigar?
Well, like I said, it's definitely rich and creamy. doesn't have a lot of spice. It's more chocolatey. It's cafe con leche.
Excellent. I'll have to take your word for it because I don't have one of those yet. But so in the north,
we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, in the Northeast, are you doing any events or what is your distribution in like where we are in Rhode Island, for example?
Oh goodness, we'd have to ask Dave Mooney. I can't say that I know that by heart, but he's very active out doing events. I was out with him in upstate New York a few weeks ago. I know he sells a lot, and we did an event at Cup of Joe's, at Havana Premium, I know for certain. So he's got a lot of great accounts out there. The Humidor in Rhode Island, and both stores, they are big, big supporters.
Oh, okay. I'll have to go visit Jana.
Yes, go visit Jana. Actually, I know this is a side note, but Jana's mother is in the hospital.
Yeah, she had a
stroke. So prayers out for Donna.
I didn't know that. I was just there not even a week ago, and I saw Donna.
It just happened like 3 days ago.
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean, we don't know, what the ramifications of it is yet, but she's in the hospital, so send your thoughts and prayers that way.
Oh, I definitely will. I bring my kids in all the time to see Donna and Jana, and they love it when I bring my kids in. They destroy the store, and they love it. I have to apologize every time.
Those two women do love kids.
They
man.
do.
Anytime Annabelle goes in there, they love it.
They're really good people, and we're so happy to have Mr. Mooney on board with us. Yeah.
So tell us what's next for Villiger Cigars in the future.
Well, we can't tell all of our secrets.
Well, that's what we want. I wouldn't be a very good cigar media person if I didn't ask that question, right?
Maybe, and sew your lips shut, because I know you want to talk about it.
Maybe just a little bit.
A little, yeah, just a little. We'll start there.
Well, one thing that Roy and all of us came with a great conclusion is that we are able to work with any manufacturer in the world.
Yeah,
so
to work with Villiger.
Exactly. So that's one great thing for us. So we're able to go ahead and create blends with, like right now we're working with Hochi Blanco, and I'm sure we'll create new blends for later on for more lines. But also we are working with some other legends in the business. Let's just say that we're gonna come up with some blends for next year and so on. So there's gonna be a lot of legend help create our new direction as well.
There's many options.
Yeah.
By legends, do you mean people like me and Paul?
Yes, we're gonna roll out
look for the Rhode Island Goombas edition of Villiger Cigars coming soon to a shelf.
The Yankee version.
Will, any further questions for our fine friends at
Fabian?
Villiger?
Fabian, you have some background in the entertainment business as well, in music business. Is that correct?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Anything you want to share about that? I've always found that part of, a fascinating part of you as well. Just kind of getting to know you over the years.
Well, growing up in Miami, you either just hanging out or pretty much partying all the time. So I kind of got in that way into the party mode. But I was a DJ since I was like 16 years old and stuff like that. So most of my friends are DJs. I know a lot of famous DJs and producers, and I'm either, if I'm not, traveling for cigars, I'm with them in a different city, just going through concerts and hanging out and making music and stuff like that. So that's the other part of my life.
Excellent.
Very cool. So there's three of you on the panel here. So I'm going to run through the 5 questions. I'm going to try and go somewhat quickly, but we have 5 questions we want to ask each of you. So I'll kind of ask each of you to answer these.
Questions for everybody or different ones?
So I'll ask each person individually the same question, and then maybe I'll start in a different order to ask the second question.
5 words, right?
Yeah. So 5 random questions. You ready? All right. I'll start with Shawna. 3 words to describe yourself.
Oh, that's easy. Smart. Oh goodness, 3 more words. Jeez.
You can use gorgeous twice if you want. It's fine.
Ambitious. And how about cute?
There you go. Robin, you still there? Robin's lead. She's like, I don't want it. Oh,
Robin.
3 words to
She's
describe
selling
yourself.
cigars over here.
Yeah.
Kind of works. I'm just here to look pretty. Pretty, awesome, amazing.
Fabian?
Sorry, go ahead.
Fabian? Was that your answer, Robin? Or okay,
That was her,
with that.
yeah.
We're going with that.
And Hustler.
Dang, I'm fun too. I should have thought of that one. I'll replace fun with cute, okay?
All right, Fabian, I'll start with you this time. If you were a serial killer, what would be your weapon of choice?
Serial killer. Wow. Knife. A boat, so I could be like Dexter.
A knife and a boat.
Knife and a bow. I like that. That's good. Robin. Did you hear the question, Robin?
No, I didn't hear the question.
You get 3 weapons?
No, just one weapon.
one
But
weapon.
he chose 2. He can do that.
Robin, if you were a serial killer, what would be your weapon of choice?
Okay. What would be my weapon of choice? Wow, this is cool. The burner.
The burner?
The burner.
The burner.
She's really sadistic.
Shawna?
Also.
Oh, you only get one.
You
What
only
is-
get one.
Really?
I'm a sniper.
Fine,
I'll be
then
a
the
sniper.
burner.
Sniper.
Sniper
And a
rifle.
bottle of
Sniper rifle.
gasoline.
Shauna, if you were to write a book about yourself, what would the title be?
Wow! I have to go first on this?
Yes.
Oh, goodness.
It's your turn to go first.
I like this part of the show.
Oh, I have no idea what the title would be.
Was it if you're a book, what's your title?
Yeah, if we write a book.
That's a good title. I have no idea what the title would be. That's a great title. Robin.
Actually, that's a good one. Yeah, it is, actually.
Robin.
Happily confused.
Oh, that's good.
Fabian.
One thing came to mind, and this every time I'm with Vinny from La Palma at the factory, driving anywhere, we just look at each other, the most random thing, and we say to each other, "I love that bitches. That's my fucking problem."
Man, everybody had better answers than
So
me.
By the way, I like that.
I would
like
totally buy that book. Okay, Fabian, back to you. This is a very serious question. In the popular game of Ask Grabby Grabby, do you prefer to go first or second?
Underneath.
Wait,
It's the first time
We
I've
haven't
heard
gotten that
answer.
one yet.
Yeah. So, Fabian,
Game
first or
Ask
second in the
Grabby
popular
Grabby.
game of Ask Grabby
First or
Grabby?
second.
I would say second, just so I could see how far we could go. And it all depends.
oh.
What if it's a game between guys?
I wouldn't be playing that with guys.
That's not in the rules of the
See,
game,
now
right?
if it wasn't for people like me and Shawna, you would only be playing with the guys.
So,
I've been in
Robin,
shows.
we got your answer, which was underneath, which is the first time I've ever heard that answer, which is
I will say
fantastic.
first.
And Shauna's going first. Okay.
Not as far as the taint, though.
Oh, Robin!
No! I don't ask grabby.
You already answered.
You are all officially invited back on the show anytime you like now. So
We love you too.
the next question requires a little bit of thought. So Shawna, you're gonna have to go first on this one.
I have to go first again?
Yeah,
Okay, and
sorry.
it requires thought.
Oh, it's a good one. This is a good one.
So if you could pick 2 celebrities to be your parents, who would they be?
My parents. Ooh, Bruce Willis could be my dad.
There you go.
He's really cool. And my mom. Oh. I don't know.
All right, we can come back to you. Robin.
Okay.
Marilyn Manson and Joan Jett.
Very nice.
She's a rock star.
Yeah. Fabian.
Al Bundy
Nice.
and Pamela Anderson.
Oh.
Wow.
Can you imagine them hitting it?
Probably goes there, right?
Robin's definitely allowed back. Can you transfer her to the Northeast, please?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I like Dave. I don't want to take his job.
So Shawna, did you think of a celebrity mom?
Oh, I don't know. Well, I mean, that means she needs to be substantially older than me, right? I don't know.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's just a fictitious game.
It's just if
Mommy.
it's not
So
real. It's not real.
to give you more time to think about it, my answers were Robert Downey Jr. and Betty White.
Oh,
Betty
wow.
White's awesome.
Nice.
Betty White's awesome.
And I can't imagine them hitting it.
Oh my goodness.
Could you imagine Pamela Anderson and Al Bundy the same?
Oh yeah.
Al Bundy got the chicks.
I can imagine just
Yo,
about it.
All right, you know.
Yo, Peggy was pretty good looking for.
Pretty awesome.
No, he had always those dreams, Al Bundy, didn't he?
That's true. We missed that, Shawna. What did you say?
I said Katie Seagal's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
she is pretty
That's what
awesome.
made
Good
me
choice.
think of her, obviously. But
Good
she's
choice.
such a badass now in Sons of Anarchy.
That's
It made
right.
you totally forget about Peggy.
Absolutely.
Well, it was fantastic having all of you on the show. We thank you so much for joining us. And people can find out more about Villiger Cigars online. Will has several reviews of the cigars that we talked about in this segment, so make sure you check out cigar-coop.com for all of those reviews and news and information. And thank you all so much for appearing on the Stogie Geek Show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, really appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone. We're going to take a short break and come back and talk about our Stogies of the week.
Have a great night.
Thank
Good
you
night.
very much.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks.
Thank you. Hey, I'll see you guys in Charlotte.
Definitely. See you soon.
Yep.
Okay.